Seconds. Okay.
Okay, hello, welcome to the Enlightened World Media Circle Call, and this is Marie Diamond, and Monique Bloxhill is there too. Hi, Monique.
Hi, Marie.
How are you?
Very good.
And thank you for everyone that is listening live on the call or will listen to the downloads. And we are moving forward with Enlightened World Media. First of all, Happy New Year, because this is really still, you know, the beginning of the year, 2014. And so, Monique, I'm very excited to connecting with Enlightened World Media. So perhaps you can share a little bit what you have accomplished with media and why you came forward with doing this, and then I will share briefly too.
Absolutely. Well, we had our last call, Marie, at the end of November, and we have quite a range of interested hosts that we are talking to one-on-one right now to address any questions and so on. And there were a couple of other things that we achieved in the meantime, but maybe we keep them to the update in general. But why am I still very excited to make this happen is because I personally started my own podcast about 1.5 years ago, and pretty quickly, within 5-6 months, I reached 20,000 listeners. And I was hugely surprised that was possible. And as you know, Marie, and you were in the same position, even though we were having quite a lot of success in terms of numbers, there were a couple of things that we were not happy with on the platforms that we were streaming on. And we thought, why don't we create our own? And yeah, I mean, you and I have been sticking our heads together for almost a year now to make it happen, and we're just about to launch it. So I'm looking forward to 2014 to make it a fantastic launch. And I just see on this slide it's still saying 6th of January 2013. No, we are already in 2014, so let's make it happen.
Well, thank you for sharing, Monique. And my name is Marie Diamond, and I was sharing today with Monique that I've been connecting virtually with my clients and students since 10 years now. I just started actually during my pregnancy of my last child and after the pregnancy, and it was a way for me to connect with people and to create connections and to keep delivering my message. And so I've been on some platforms, and each time very quickly, you know, I connect with a lot of people. It was great to build my database. And also to build up a library of work that I share with people, and that they could listen whenever they wanted. But like Monique and I connected in about a year ago, and we really felt there was another way that things could be done, and so we created our own platform called Enlightened World Media, to really make a focus on that your message is empowering the world, and that there's a way to do this through collaboration, really through the female aspect of collaboration to enhance each other's growth and listeners' base. And so we have been working on it constantly for the last I would say 7-8 months, perhaps even longer, weekly or bi-weekly, working on this very diligently, and so we're very excited to kick this off on in April 2014. So Monique, we have an agenda, so perhaps we can start with the agenda so it makes more sense for the listeners.
Oops. A second. Okay, so here's the agenda. A little bit back and forth. Yeah, well, what Marie and I, what we realize in our conversations with, you know, the hosts that would like to start with us, some of them, you know, understood the power of having their own podcast and making their voice heard all over the globe. But still there are some benefits that were not very clear, and that's why you and I, Marie, we thought this is something we should make very visible in our call again today. What we are offering with the Enlightened World Media, where we would like you and everyone else to join us with, is not just having your own podcast, but it will help you in many other ways to reach your business and financial and other goals this year. So we'd like to highlight them again, and then of course keep an update on what we did in the last month, what the next steps are that we will take and that we would like you to take in case you seriously like to go forward with us in this, and then also make sure that we answer any questions or address any points that you might have. But I do understand, Annette and Tony, you're the first time here on the call today, so we might also again go through with you quickly through the vision of this platform and through what it offers in very concrete ways to you as the host and to the listeners, and what the packages are that we offer in concrete terms. So Marie, I think it makes perfect sense to also go through those again, right?
Okay, of
But
course.
shall we start with talking about the podcasting benefits, or do you want to add anything?
Yeah? No, this is perfect. So the podcasting benefits, there were a few that we really came up with what we experienced, what other people that we know that have been doing podcasts, so internet radio shows. First of all, there are millions of people listening to podcasts worldwide. You know, many of them are in the music industry, many are in the self-development world, and it's not just in one language, but in many languages. And it's one of the things that we really want to focus on in Enlightened World Media, is that this is not just in English, but that you are able to even distribute it in your own language. So it's not just an English Enlightened World Media platform. It will be also available for other languages, so that you know, you can both work locally as globally. But the great thing is, once you have a podcast, through the way of going and connecting them on one platform with other great people, is that listeners from one show will start listening to other people's shows because they're on one platform. So if you start, you know, yourself and doing a radio show, you don't tap in to other people's database because it's not on one platform. And so also I would say the platform we're going to use Enlightened World Media on also is already connecting in with millions of listeners, and the fact that the platform we have will also be on a huge platform connected will again bring in more listeners that are already out there loving podcasts. It's a specific group of people in the sense that people just love to have more and more information. And some people love to listen to YouTube, but so many people love to listen to the radio and to podcast on their time, on their in their way. So that was the first thing I want to really acknowledge, that there's millions of people doing and listening podcasts. You want to talk about the second aspect?
Yeah, and I would also like to add something. And, you know, I know that, yes, you mentioned also YouTube and video. A lot of people watch short clips these days, but a lot of people also still listen to podcasts, especially, as you said, you can download them, you can take them along. And a lot of people just like to download things and listen to them, in, you know, while they drive, while they're standing in traffic jams, while they're running or doing anything else. And even me, I mean, I often download podcasts and listen to them. And it's a great way of learning while we're doing something else, where otherwise it would be wasted and empty time, right? So
yeah,
this
it is a very popular way of connecting with the information.
Also, I think, you know, podcasting is a great addition to social media. Everybody is speaking about social media these days, but then again, what is social media, right? It's just posting, your content that you're creating anyhow. It's content from blogs you create or, anything else. But with podcasts, you have an opportunity to create content right away that you can then use on social media as well. And yeah, Marie, is there anything else you want to add on that?
Well, a lot of people are looking to put information on social media, and one of the things that you need information to share. And of course, you can do little blogs, but as we know, a lot of people don't like to read all these things. Most people are both visual or they are like to listen to things. So in social media, there's little text, and you can do ebooks, but most people don't have time to read all these things, because if you read something, you cannot do anything else. But if you can listen to the information, and you can let that know to your social media fans and followers, and the people that like you, they actually then have something to listen to, and it's something that is so powerful to be downloaded for people. So it's a great way to do things. Then another aspect is the database expansion. You want to go into that?
Sure. Well, my experience is that, and also another thing on podcasting, in addition to social media, it's a different thing if people read something that you write or if they listen to your voice. Because there is people pick up your energy, they pick up how you speak, how you pronounce, and all that. As we know, written text content is one thing, but if you want to have an impact on people, your voice has a much bigger impact than content in itself. Yes, and then on the powerful marketing tools, well, podcasting really helps to expand your database, to get in touch with people that you might not necessarily be in touch with on social media yet. So, like for example, last year I had a couple of people that forwarded my podcasts to other people that otherwise I wouldn't have had access to. They would not necessarily have forwarded, a blog on Facebook, but they did forward my shows because they liked it so much. And also, for example, when you're interviewing people with big lists themselves, they will post your interviews and your podcasts on their social media, on their websites, and they will automatically then, once they sign up to your podcast, they will then automatically help you get additional people on board that if they would only go out through your channels, you would never reach them. So it's a very powerful tool to expand your database big time.
Yeah, and also as you are part of a platform and people need to go into the website to look at what are the hosts, and we are promoting that, of course, too, who is on the radio show, they also see perhaps the next one or the one before or the one that day or on certain subjects. They will do research and say, oh, on this level I'm looking for something about this. So they actually can then see your show, your podcast, and so you get connection with people that at this moment are not aware of your existence. But because your topic is something that really relates with them, they actually start coming. And of course, if you then connect in and put a great landing page together and you ask them to sign up for some extra bonuses, then you actually collect data of emails. And one of the first things you always have to do in marketing is build and work on your database list. And so this is a great marketing tool to expand that database constantly. And even if they're not listening at that moment, they listen later on, they forward it to people. It's like it's a viral energy in podcasts. So there's like this ripple effect that starts happening when you have podcasts, because they're there all the time. I mean, even platforms I was on before, I got this weeks even, and because the links are still there, emails from people saying, oh, you promised in that podcast, this is a podcast I did 2 years ago or even longer, and they came forward with asking and said, yeah, we gave this information to a whole group of people that is working with us, but we couldn't find it right away. Can you please tell us how to find this information? So like, wow, this is like 30 new people from a podcast from more than 2 years ago. And they all signed up on my newsletter this week. So it's really interesting because it keeps continuing. And even if you have given this so long ago, the database expansion is not at that moment. It can be, later that you're not always aware of right away.
Mm-hmm. And the great thing is with podcasts also, you cannot only stream them once, you can stream them several times. So, for example, I have taken some of the podcasts that I recorded about a year ago, and I streamed them and made them visible again on my social media. And people that didn't react back then reacted now because, over time we're still getting in touch with new people, making new connections, and they might not have necessarily seen what we have to offer before. So it's a great way to not only use it once and stream it once, but you can stream it again and again. That's the power.
Wonderful. So direct income, you want to talk a little bit about that, Monique?
Sure. Well, a lot of people say, well, I'm not sure if I should be doing podcasting because, of course, it takes some time to put all that together. It's very true, but the great thing that I understood when I got started is I'm not just creating podcasts. I'm really creating content for my books, for my learning programs, to then consolidate as audio, video products, learning products, to make me also a passive income. So podcasting is not just streaming. It's not just bringing your message out there. It's not only marketing, but what you do is also with interviewing experts in your field. They give you input, they give you advice, inspiration, make you aware of tools that you might not have been aware of. They give you priceless advice that you're not simply sharing with the world, but that you can also use. Of course, once you have agreed with them, you don't want to use intellectual property of someone else for free. There needs to be an agreement. But once there is an agreement, and so far I haven't met anyone that said no to share what they know, as long as I make them visible as well, to use all that material in my own products as well. And that's it's not just a marketing tool. It's not only there for streaming. It's really helping you to create product and generate income. And there's a lot of opportunity to generate indirect income. Marie, do you want to take that over?
Yes. Well, one of the bonuses, like you said, you meet people, you interviewed me and you
Yes.
see what happened from it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we started this media platform, and I invited you to be part of ATL Europe. And so it's like these bonuses are great, but it's also the bonus of you have then podcasts that you can actually share as bonuses to your clients, because people always you sell something but they want a bonus, and it's like, okay, where can I buy all this or get all these bonuses to sell? Well, your podcasts are bonuses. People love so much hours of podcasts as a gift. You get consulting out of it. People really start loving you. They connect with you. Like I said, there's an energetic connection. It's like a voice that they connect with, and a message they connect with, and then people come to you when they want some consulting or some speaking engagements can come out of this. And also, it's great on your CV saying you have your own radio show. I mean, that alone just is a very powerful tool, even if to to bring you forward as a speaker, as a consultant, it's like, you're a visible person. It's always is great to be able to say I have my own TV show, or I have my own radio show, or, or I have my own book, because then you are more seen as the expert in the field that you connect with, because you have exactly, you are visible about it. So your expertise is visible. So indirect income comes also from that direction. And of course, you lead them to your website all the time, and people start buying products or to landing pages, and then you can create a whole revenue out there.
Absolutely. And as we already said several times, you really become visible. Just recently, I interviewed someone who is a perceived expert on, investments, and he has been selected the, one of the investment experts on the, on the market here in Germany a few times, and it was so funny. Just a week after I interviewed him, he was big in media again, and everyone that actually searched his name online would come and find my interview with him. So it's really great. We sometimes never know what happens, that
Yes.
we really become very, very visible. Mm.
And it's like some people do podcasts because they want to interview people, others because they are having a lot of information they want to share and build this up and have, you can do it as a recording or as a live call where, people can call in for questions and answers. So you can actually create your own style of podcast, and because of that, you start building a library, a library of information, library of interviews, and that alone is a great thing also, because people are looking for information. This is the information age, and they're looking for definitely short clips, on video, but they want longer information, and they want the ebooks, and they want the longer radio information, or like podcasts as we call them. And the more you have them available, the more they see you as an expert. So building a library is a great tool also to show on people are on the internet. When they go to your website, you have a library of information. And just people love to have that, because then they know your I would say the levels of the star levels of your expertise go up. Yeah.
Absolutely.
You want this, or there's something else about accountability you want to move forward?
Yeah, just on the library, also something very important is a lot of people these days, they just, take blogs or take content from other people and just post it again on their page. And here it's really a library of unique content that you created, which is also very important to be ranking high on search engines, online, and so on. There's also the point on accountability, because if other people are like me, I'm getting very, very active when a deadline is coming up. So once I had to create these podcasts on a weekly basis, I had to make sure that I bring it on. And sometimes we like to procrastinate, or often there are things that are more important, which is more often the case. Sometimes running podcasts is something that is important, and we know it's important for our marketing and so on. But sometimes we kind of, let things slip if we don't have a deadline. And if we are committed to run a regular podcast, then we have to have the podcast ready. So it really helps us to create content on a regular basis, and it becomes a little bit like an accountability partner to make sure that, yes, we get it done, and yes, we generate that content, and yes, we're going to link that into products and so on. So that is also an aspect that helped me a lot throughout last year, that every single week I had to create a new podcast. Therefore, I created new content and added to my database and so on, right?
Yeah, and we have the ability on Enlightened Media to do it weekly, to do it bi-weekly, to do it monthly.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want database and the flow going as good as possible, as flowing as possible, you need to do more than once a month for sure. Definitely biweekly is the minimum, I think. But like you said, I totally agree. It just keeps you going. It keeps you inspired because you have a deadline. And I've been in the publishing world, and I had to, every week I had to have a newsletter ready for my client base. And I'm telling you, it just puts pressure on you, but it feels great to deliver. And because the more people are aware of, okay, every week or every 2 weeks I can tune in, this is information, I like her or his voice, I like the information, the message that is given, it empowers me, there's this steadiness that starts happening. And people, and this is so great, I'm talking about the connections also. I mean, physically they can connect with you, they hear you, but also energetically. Even if you're asleep, even if you're doing other things, people are listening to you, and it creates a ripple effect in the energy field. And other things will start coming because it's like the law of attraction. Now, other people are working with you for the law of attraction because you're actually expanding. You're really expanding the energy. People are connecting with you. 24 hours a day. Otherwise, you can only be like an hour with a person or a half hour. And now, wherever in the world, people can listen to you, and on their time, and it's just great. And like last week, I was talking to somebody, and he was showing on his iPod like all these links that he had from me, and like, yeah, but I want to listen 2-3 hours to you. I listen to 3 hours to you. I'm like, wow, and just becoming aware that so many people are listening to you. And I remember when I did a podcast, and 50,000 people had listened to me. I mean, that really was very powerful to know that 50,000 people are connecting with your energy, with your message. It just gives you a huge stimulus to keep moving forward in what you're doing, and it gives you encouragement and empowers. So it's not only that your message empowers the world, but it's also the world empowers you to give the message because of the continuing rippling energy from the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So I think these are, great benefits that, perhaps some people don't always think about when we think about a radio show, but we felt like this was an important piece to share. Anything else you want to contribute to this, Monique, or you want to go to the next level?
Not on this. I'm just wondering how we should continue. Shall we go through our vision again, or I don't know if Anita has already looked through it. Marie, do you want to go through it again? Just to be sure?
I was
Okay.
very shortly, yeah.
Okay, give me a second, so I need to jump a little bit. So let's give an outline of what the Enlightened World Media will look like in 2014, okay?
Yeah.
I think you already mentioned quite a few things. You already mentioned that, yes, we will be starting with English, but we plan to also make it available in, quite a range of additional languages like Dutch, German, Polish, French, Greek. We have some people that are interested to start in Greek pretty soon, potentially even Chinese if, that is one of the most spoken languages around the globe anyhow. We also say that we want to build a bridge between local and global because there's quite a few people that are pretty well known and are leaders locally in their own field, but they would like to make their message heard in a bigger way. So we really, once we talk about languages like German, there's also people that speak German in the States or even in China, all over the world, so that a local language is spoken, but besides English, but people around the world are reached with that podcast in whatever language. We will start with audio streaming, because we said, we mentioned already what the benefits are to download, podcasts and take them with you and listen to them wherever you are. and we will cover a range of topics that we realized are, most people are mostly interested in, like success, health, relationships, and then also inspiration and personal growth, business, and also environment. And how we envision that to run is that every single day of the week we will have one specific theme that will be covered by all the hosts that specifically have podcasts around that theme and topic. So that people, for example, success, we say, well, on Monday it's all about success, and people that are specifically interested in success will log in on that date to just find all the podcasts that are most relevant to them. Do you want to add something on that, Marie?
So I think that's a very a powerful way to work with the topics. Is that people that, for example, they know, okay, that day is on success, but I'm starting having some problems with relationship and I want to go into that. So then they all on that day, and so it's very clear also on the website the specific colors we use for it, so that they can continue even listening to the podcast, even if they're working. It's the ones that are like very interested in health, they can listen for a few hours to topics about health, because it's all together on that one day. So I really like that very much. And so the streaming, the target is 24/7, so that we will be able to stream other languages from other places in the world. But of course we'll start with a few shows per day, so that both the American listeners and the European listeners, this is our first target group, can actually listen. But you never know who's listening in, because we're actually supporting each other by putting it on the Facebook we stimulate each other's database. For example, if Monique has a show and it's mentioned, I can, because she's part of the platform, we actually stimulate it to put it also on your Facebook. And so there are people that are perhaps listening that you don't know about, even if it's in a target or a topic that you're not connected with, but you still, are on the same platform, and people start connecting with the different topics.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So that is what we envision for 2014. And 2015 we will expand and grow, but we will just get started this year and cover the whole range of topics already, but not all the languages yet, and we'll start with a few shows. Well, shall we talk about what kind of hosts we want to take on board, Marie?
Yes, please. So the host requirements are, we're looking for new and innovative thought leaders, and thought leaders in their specific field. We're looking definitely for hosts that are value-driven, that have great values, that are from the heart. They really feel like they want to make a difference, and they do have a focus on making the world a better place worth living in. And not only that, it's for their own business and personal development. Of course, we need to focus on business and personal development, but we definitely want to make sure that the people have a wider focus, because together we can make, as all hosts together on this platform, create a wonderful change in the world. Now, also the hosts are happy to cross-promote their shows and products. That's a really key piece for expanding, the connection. So, would you like to add something to that? Because I know you're very, very keen on that, Monique, that part.
Well, about the cross-promotion, well, of course, the power of the Enlightened World Media as such is exactly on working together, right? As I mentioned earlier, and you mentioned, Marie, you and I, we have reached quite a big audience pretty quickly with our shows, because, I mean, for you it was a little bit different because you were already pretty known around the world, but for me, I didn't start with a big database, and I reached quite a few people because I got cross-promoted by peers on another platform. And I think this is the power. Of course, everyone can go to Blog Talk Radio and open their own channel there. But you will realize that you will not reach as many people because, if you're not streaming as part of such a platform, your shows will not necessarily be featured pretty quickly. And, the power is always, as we all know, the power is in the combination of people's messages and networks. And of course, if hosts just come on board to benefit from using other people's networks but don't open their own, then it doesn't bring all of us forward. And
and this is not the purpose of Enlightened World Media.
yes,
and it's through collaboration. It's really we're helping each other, because you never know what one person can bring. And for example, my focus is perhaps a completely different focus than yours, Monique, and still we are able to support each other, right?
Exactly.
Or bring in new people. I suggested some people to connect with, and vice versa. So it's all about collaboration, and so we're looking also for a healthy balance between well-established and new hosts. So it's not all people that already have a big database. We're looking for people that also new but are fulfilling the values that we are looking for in Enlightened World Media.
Absolutely. And I think as a next point, last time also we mentioned what the host benefits are. I think we already mentioned quite a lot of those, but we can quickly scan through them again. It's obviously to reach listeners not only within your own local market but around the globe with your shows, and also to make sure that you connect with your right targeted audience to bring out to share your vision, your experience, your expertise, and your products with the right audience and not just with any audience. So that will help you for us, that we have themes set up so that you reach the right audience that you want to reach. We already mentioned the opportunity to generate extra direct and indirect income. And of course, it's always not only more fun, but it's also much more powerful being part of a global hosting community that works together instead of just working on your own and streaming your own podcasts. And cross-promotion we mentioned as a benefit already. And there's another point, getting the best media network support that is available out there. This is something that you, Marie, and I learned, and this is one of the reasons why we said we want to run our own platform, to make sure that our hosts get the best support that we can possibly offer based on our own experience of what we would need.
And our circle calls are part of that,
Absolutely.
the circle calls.
Yes.
And also, part of the different packages, bring in more support for people, because it's once you start doing this is like perhaps some new water for you to swim in. But if you have the right support, it's and you have a community that loves for you to be successful and loves for you to be empowering the world, it makes a big difference. There's a huge passion from Monique and I to help you out with this.
And also you and I, Marie, we learned a lot about what the benefit is of running these shows and how to run them and how to group this content into products and so on. And this is something that we would like to as well share with all the hosts on that platform, because it took us quite a while to learn that and to build that experience and to find out what works and what doesn't. So we would like to share that with others. And also we are keen to continue to learn as well on our side, right? And and also whenever we produce new products or new books, then we already have a platform, we already have a database here to promote them actively, which is also very important besides our own
Yeah, because if you
databases.
have a new book coming out and you mention it in your podcast and it's cross-promoted by others, other listeners listen to that and hear, oh, there's another book, and also we definitely want to bring the whole community together in that. And a great important thing is also to access to outstanding guests for your radio show. Like it was a friend of mine that you asked, do you know some people? And she said, oh, invite Marie Diamond, and she made the link, and I did the same for you. I introduced you to some people, and some others did the same thing for you. So it's like you start being a connection, or you, in the calls it's possible you're saying, well, I would like to reach out with that person. Does anybody knows that person? So you become a community. You're not alone in bringing this forward, and also finding the guests for it. Yeah.
And it opened me incredible doors to people. And it's not only that I that I invited them onto my show, but quite a few of them, I built a longer term relationship. I invited them back to join my programs as, successful entrepreneurs, to share their wisdom there. And with some of them I run, collaborations on building products now and so on. So it opens you great doors to people, not only for the radio shows, but also to collaborate with them in many other ways. And also what we realize is once people get listen to podcasts, they often also want to interact with us, or they want to actually get direct access to those specific hosts that they like most. We also want to offer the opportunity to hold webinars and tap into additional media products and platforms eventually, after this Enlightened World Media has really reached a critical stability and volume. So there's a lot of other things planned over time, but this is what we get started with. Yeah. And then I'm often asked, so what is the benefit for listeners, and who are the listeners in the first place that you're reaching out to? So Marie, do you want to say something about who our target listeners are?
Well, it can be local and global. Local meaning connect with your language, but most of the time they are global audiences that are the best fit to your topic. Most of the time between 20 and 80 years old, men and women. It's very interesting. A lot of men are listening to podcasts, even more than you can imagine. So because it's also something they can do while they run and while they sport or doing other businesses. So it feels more safe apparently for some men in the self-development world. But definitely people looking for a change in their personal and business life, and listeners that are open to transformation and development. So how do we plan to attract the big numbers? Well, the first major one is cross-promotion into networks of all hosts. Also by interviewing leaders that already have a strong social media presence. So if you're open to interview some people, look first how strong is their social media presence. Because if they have an interview and with you, one of the things you will ask the leaders that you interview is saying, will you also send this out? I'll give you the information when this interview is out. And of course they want to tell, they have PR presence, so that they have media presence. There's a video, or there's an interview, or there's a podcast out there. People want to share that, or an article. So the leaders will mention that, and people will listen and become aware of your show, and they're like, oh, I really like what she's doing. Let me connect in, or what he's doing, and let me connect in with the next one. And so interviewing strong leaders is definitely a major piece. I think you experienced that very clearly, Monique, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Helped me in big ways, yes.
You want to continue?
Yeah, sure. Also, what we said is, we would like to actually eventually build, a very strong database that all our hosts can then tap into as well. So that is something we'll build our own database besides all the hosts having theirs. But we will have very clear visibility on, who of the listeners is really listening to which shows and so on, so that the hosts as well benefit from helping the database to grow and getting an understanding of how many more people do they reach eventually, right? And then also, yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
it sounded like you wanted to add something.
No.
And then also we thought that we will offer a membership platform for listeners, because there's always some listeners that want more than others. Some people are just happy listening to the podcasts. Some other listeners really want to dive more into the wisdom and the experience of some of the hosts. They also want to join webinars with them or buy their products or get their products maybe at a discounted price or as a bonus. They don't only listen to one podcast a week, they listen to quite a range of them. And for these types of more sophisticated listeners and interested people, we also think we should offer them more value than to people that just listen to one show per week. So we will also offer them a membership platform to connect them with the hosts directly and to connect them with opportunities to even dive deeper and learn more about their topic that they're interested in. And there's a lot of benefits for listeners as well. Maybe we should quickly go through them as well again. Okay. So as we said, of course, they get,
Yeah, no, I go ahead.
Okay. Okay. As we said, that listeners really get access to, not just any hosts that are experts, but to hosts that really wholeheartedly want to share with them their experience, their wisdom. They want to promote them. They want to empower them so that they are more successful and more healthy, more fulfilled in their lives. So it's, pretty selective, the hosts that will be represented here as well. They will obviously get access to really life-changing information. We will make sure that we don't only sell, but in the forefront there's really that we share information, rich content, priceless advice, people's success stories and so on, that people get access to. So we will make sure that the quality of the shows is very high. To benefit the listeners, so that they're really taking the most out of the time listening into to the podcasts. They also will get access to some of the products and services of the hosts, and at a lower price or even for free, some of it, as bonuses, as we mentioned earlier. They'll also get access to really a broader range of expertise, wisdom, and tools that they wouldn't find if they would just listen to one podcast of one expert. Here they will be able to listen to a whole range of themes and topics, as we mentioned earlier. They will not only have to listen in English, but they will also get access to hosts' wisdom in their own local language. I can speak out of experience that here in Germany, for example, podcasting is not a very widely used tool yet for a lot of people. So not a lot of people in Germany run podcasts and record podcasts, and therefore not so much material is available to people. So this is a great benefit for many Germans that don't speak English to eventually get access to also experts that share their experience and advice in German, for example, or eventually in other languages as well. And well, as we already said, they get access to a lot of material cheaper or for free that we will offer through our hosts. And yeah, as we said already as well, is they will get access to webinars with direct access to hosts, where otherwise a lot of the people that I interviewed are top entrepreneurs that are very, very busy, often flying around the world, and they're not very, very visible, neither in trainings nor on stages, because they're very busy. But once we interview them here, we will not only make open doors to hosts as such, but also to some of the guests in these webinars, right? And then also, often when we listen to podcasts, we have a lot of questions related to our own situation and experience, and we'll make sure that listeners will get their specific individual questions answered, either in webinars or through exchange platforms that we plan to bring in place. Marie, you want to add anything?
No, I think this is great.
Mm-hmm.
What is our next step?
Shall we talk about our packages again quickly?
Yeah, that would be lovely. So we have several packages, customized for your need and your focus. And so you have the package, and the first package is the standard package, where you have once a month you can broadcast, or every month. Of course, you are always represented on the platform with an avatar. That means a picture and about your show, your choice of language that is available. You always have access to the EWM circle. These are the monthly calls like we have now, reach of local and global audience. There will be a proactive show announcement on the social media we have, so once per show, and also the cross-promotion of once to other hosts. You will have statistical information on listenership, and the income possibilities is that you will have ability to have affiliate fees in the future when we do have the membership. The investment is a setup fee of 198 euros, and it's in euros as both Monique and I are in Europe, and there's a monthly hosting fee of 198 euros. That's the first package.
Of 98 euros.
Go to the second? Yeah?
Yeah,
second
I think
package?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the second package is, and the packages are differentiated by how often you want to stream and how much active promotion you would like to have on your shows. So the second package is the professional package, and it's of course the first one, plus you can stream not only monthly but rather bi-weekly or weekly, and that is what I personally recommend to every business leader that really wants to do this seriously and wants to also be visible, because you know that whatever impulse we get once a month, it's not very strong. So it's actually much better to make ourselves visible on a regular basis, and it also speeds up your whole process of creating content and building products if you do it at least bi-weekly or weekly. And then, the proactive show announcement on social media will be double the size, so it's twice per show at the beginning and once the show is streamed as well. And we added income possibilities, so if you want to have advertisements or sponsors on certain shows that you're streaming, then we will support you putting that in place as well. And we'll also, if you want to post any promotional articles on your books or products or webinars or seminars or whatever programs or other products or services you're offering, then we will block that on a monthly basis. And you'll also be invited to join us on the webinars to get direct access to listeners that specifically like your shows. That again will be facilitated from our side. And the setup fee is still the same, and the monthly fee is slightly higher because there's more coordination and support effort. It's 198 euros a month for that one. And you want to say something about the VIP package, Marie?
Yes. Well,
that's the one that you would have liked.
I'm very excited about.
Yeah,
because,
exactly.
because for some people, is one of the things that I felt, with other platforms there was just sometimes not enough help, and I had to bring in a person to do this, and then that person was not aware of how to do all these things. So this is actually where we have the Professional Plus package, where you have, again, the regular broadcast streaming bi-weekly or weekly, 4 proactive show announcements, regular reports with statistical data on your listenership. It's not, once in a while, but just regular. You will feature a VIP presentation on the platform. So on the website, you will be mentioned first if it's like on our list of shows. Also, and that's great important, is the possibility to stream your show by staff members of the EWM team, so that you do not have to do all the work of streaming them and making sure they are there, but there's a staff member that we are bringing in to support you with that. And so the investment is a little bit more. It's €298 because we have to bring in the staff member to set everything up, your avatar, and working things out with you. And then it's €498 monthly hosting fee, because it's really, you get all the support. It's like we are creating a staff member for you without you having somebody from your team to work with you to make this happen. You just have to deliver the show and the interview, but all the rest we can help you with. These are the 3 packages. There's a special offer you want to share, Monique?
Well, yes, let's go now to, because the special offer is still mentioned under next steps. Okay. So what we should do now is, Marie, is just quickly goes through what we did in last month. So where are we right now? And then we talk about next steps, which also includes the special bonus. Okay?
Yes. So what did we do the last month, Monique? You want to go in there?
Well, of course, we followed up and had quite a few one-on-one conversations with people that are thinking about coming on board. Today is the 6th of January, so quite a few of them are not on the call today, but I guess our number will be bigger in February. So we are having these conversations and answering any questions that might be there. We also looked again intensely at which radio platform should we go for. We reached out to quite a few of them and looked at pros and cons, and we realized that for the best way that we could support our hosts would be to go for the platform Live 365. It's a very prestigious platform. Also Hay House and quite a few other great organizations and celebrities are using that platform. So that means that there's also quite a listenership that we will be able to tap into. Also, the way they're supporting us has been exemplary. The statistics we'll get through them is great, and I think we're just simply going to be in very good hands with what they can offer us technically and also from the support side. So
yeah, and they have a lot of platforms that they are bringing the podcast towards, and they even have opportunity to bring him onto iTunes Radio, what is really a very important piece for us too.
Exactly.
And so the further preparation is ongoing for the launch.
Exactly.
And so we have been quite busy already since the beginning. So what is the next step? Well, the host, we asked them to make a commitment to join by the 31st of January. And you can do that by sending an email to Enlightened World Media. If you have more questions, of course, you can connect with us personally, with Monique or with me. We have extra bonus for the first 10 hosts that commit. We give you 1 month free streaming from whatever package you decide. And you also will have 1 hour radio hosting mentoring with me or with Monique to really help you to get your message together, to really make sure that you know exactly which niche market, what message you want to bring forward, and how to move forward into that. We'll share our expertise. Then one of the next steps is to design your show representation when you commit. That means the avatar, the host title, the show title, technical training that we need to give for your host or for somebody from your team. And the monthly Enlightened World Media Circle call is the first Monday each month. And so we just started with that, and we launched Enlightened World Media Platform on 1st of April 2014, which I'm very excited for.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Can't wait to make it see the light eventually. And
Yes.
we already got quite a few people that yeah, resonate with this and would like to get started, and some of them already for quite a while, so I'm very excited to make it happen now.
Me too. Perhaps we can go to questions and answers right now.
Yes.
If there's any questions that even the people that are not live on the call, they can always send an email to info@enlightenedworldmedia.com or connect through with Monique or with me through Skype or through emails to set up a personal conversation about the questions you have. But perhaps somebody who's on the call has any questions or any comments or anything they want to share, please go ahead. You can chat, I think, or they can unmute themselves, right?
Let's give them a couple of seconds.
Hi, Marie and Monique. Can you hear?
Yes.
Okay. A question I have is, so with the packages, if you sign up starting with one package for the monthly class, can you change to another package at any time, or is there a commitment of a year? Just wondering about that. Like if I started monthly, could I go to bi-weekly at any time, or vice versa?
Marie, do you want to answer that, or you want me to?
Yeah, go ahead, Monique.
Okay, well, what I would suggest, how we do this, is, of course, you can, as long as we still have slots free, right? You can always move up to a higher package without, without any issue, as quickly as we can get you signed up for that. You will then not need to pay any additional sign-up fee or anything, because that is the same at least for the first two packages anyhow, right? What we would like to see is if you commit to, for example, to a professional package, and you will then want to move from a weekly streaming to a monthly streaming, of course, it would be great if you would give us a couple of months notice, because at the moment it's maybe not so critical, but over time we want to make sure that slots are filled, and that our listeners are getting the benefit that we promised them to get. At the beginning it's not so critical, but over time, when we have more slots filled, of course we don't want them to be idle. So it would be great if you would not switch from one month to another, but you would give us a couple of months notice. Yeah, okay. Does that answer your question?
Yes, very well. Thank you. And that other question I have is, so if I did 2 shows a month, for instance, would you suggest that now you were talking about consistency and getting the message out, would you recommend that it be the same show, or is it possible to have like 2 different topics once a month, like one week one topic and another week another topic?
Do you have something specific in mind?
Yeah, what I'm thinking of is one about the environment, more connected with dowsing, and then another one connected with the children. My website is Conscious Guide for Mothers, so maybe one more connected with the children, one connected more with the environment. It would tie in on some level, but they'd be 2 different topics.
Marie, I'm sure you have some experience on that.
Yeah, well, there will be 2 different avatars because there are 2 different shows. So in that sense, I actually, in that case, you can go for an avatar more towards, okay, I'm going to focus on, in your case, to bring your name and branding forward. Your name and branding has 2 different topics. People come to you to connect about transformation about children, and they can connect to you about transformation of the environment. So you can then or go with like a show that connects with your name, and then put something under that you can put the two topics under there, right? And that your listeners know that, once a month you will talk more about this topic, and the other month you'll talk more about this topic. But if you want two specific shows that you focus more on the topic-related radio show name, then you will have to have two avatars. So in that case, it makes it a little bit more complicated. But for you, I would actually suggest more to create a topic, and I would say an avatar, a show name that is so general, but that your customers, your listeners know, okay, this can be this and this. These are the two topics. And then we can, as media, decide, well, these ones we put under environment, and these ones we put under personal development.
And that'll give me more flexibility each month, too, because maybe some months I want to do 2 on dowsing, or 2 on the environment, or 2 on children.
Yes.
So, and we could actually put them in 2 different dates, 2 different days, The ones on environment, we put them on the day of environment, and the one on the children, conscious children, they can actually be in the personal development. So we can actually put them in a different position. It still means it's the same show, but the topic of the day is different, right? And these people that tune in that day will more likely connect with that, that topic.
And and that's from the podcast perspective. I would still like to, if you like to, I'd be open to do that. To have a conversation with you around your business focus, right? Because my experience is I work a lot with entrepreneurs all over the world, and often I see that when people try to I don't know how strongly you are positioned with these different topics already, but if you're trying to drive both forward and you're kind of not very strong on both of them, strongly perceived at the moment yet, then I would rather advise you to focus on one, because unless you already have active marketing going on both, and you already have strong products and a strong positioning on both.
She does. She has
you do.
Markets. Yeah.
Okay.
So
if that's the case, then yes, then that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
For someone that is not, I would rather say maybe start positioning yourself more in one than in 2 separately. But if you're already strong in both, then yes, I'd go with the approach that Marie suggested.
Yeah.
Okay,
well, that's why I tuned into her approach, because I know the business situation from her. But it makes sense what you're saying completely, Monique. When somebody needs to kind of shown what their expertise is about, that they go in a certain direction, because that's what the people, we want the world to know that this is your specific message. Yeah, totally.
Yes.
But as you know, everybody is unique in their field and their approach. But that's why the name of the show can be a more general name that you can put in different topics under there, or it can be your brand, or so people. That's why the conversation we will have with you on and the mentoring that and the support we give you, both from Monique, her perspective in creating business for people and supporting them with their business launch, and my background of information from 20 years being in the self-development world, is definitely support for the people that will come on board to feel guided and to feel mentored in this. So, any other more questions, Annette, so far, or how?
No, it just sounds wonderful. It's just what I've been looking for.
Oh, wonderful.
It just feels very, I love the idea of the cross supporting each other, and the possibility of just, reaching people that you wouldn't otherwise be able to reach. So, yeah, it's very exciting. So thank you for putting this together. I love it.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, and looking forward to have you on board, and the listeners that are listening later, we're really looking forward, and if you have any questions, you can always connect with Monique or with me, Marie, and we're looking forward to have you on board, and together to enlighten the world through your message and empowering the audiences in making a bigger difference in their lives, be more successful, to be more healthy, have greater relationship, better business, more beautiful environments, and to be inspired every day of their life. So I thank you. Monique, anything you want to add to finalize?
I think you just said it so beautifully at the end that I think I would let you round off with your words that you just said, because that's exactly what we're trying to achieve, and I'm just very excited to make it happen now in the next couple of months, and with Annette and quite a few other hosts that are already keen to get started, like you and I, Marie. I'm sure this is going to be really inspiring and empowering a lot of people around the world. Might they be hosts, or might they be listeners, or might they be involved in any other way.
Okay, have a wonderful evening, a wonderful day wherever you are. Goodbye until the next Enlightened World Media Circle call. Bye-bye.
Yes, and that is going to be on, we can say that already, that's going to be on February 4th, again at 8 p.m. Central European Time, and wherever you are around the world you can find out for yourself, but looking forward to the 3rd of February.
Bye-bye.
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you both.
Okay,
bye-bye.
Bye.